It's not that it's wrong to give a
know, but
visual cue, but you got to make sure he's going to listen it down also.
I know, that's
right?
the thing.
And then see how notice he started getting frustrated there,
He does.
right?
He's
That's similar to what you were explaining you were seeing on the walk, where it's like you correct him when another dog's around, and it like ignites him more. And all that comes from that frustration right there came from confusion, right? Gray criteria, which gets back to the issues you were having, you know, out on the walk and stuff with other dogs, is when the criteria gets gray and he gets confused, that correction ignites him.
Yeah.
My family. So when they came over, we muzzled her, and that was a good choice.
Yeah.
Because once she got off the bed, she's so weird. My parents, like, she wanted them to pet her the whole time, and even like towards the end, after like an hour, a couple hours, she's still like one of their pets. But as they're petting her, she's like,
Yeah.
So I'm like, why? What do you want?
Sure.
Like, I don't get it. And then I think she still guards the space. My dad's sitting there petting her, and he stood up and she barked at him.
Yeah.
So I can't read her behavior. And
Sure.
it's like, it was way better because usually she's in the crate, she barks, and we can't talk or like we around her. So they're like, this is fine, we don't mind, but she'll always have to be muzzled because I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I just don't understand her behavior.
Yeah, it's like the principle of like dogs can be really confusing and give mixed signals. And because she's unpredictable, she's unsafe to have people pet her. So it's not that she has to be muzzled forever and ever and ever around people. We just have to advocate for her and not have people pet her, because we know that that could either go the happy way where she's like, yes, I love being pet, or it could go the opposite way where she's like showing teeth and being bratty. She kind of reminds me of a cat. Like when you're petting a cat and then they like seemingly like it and then all of a sudden don't. So
Caitlin didn't let people go up to her.
yeah, she came over to them.
She sits right in their feet and
Sure.
she wants pets.
Yeah, she
And
kind of
she'll
begs
even
for
nudge-
it.
Yes, and she'll even nudge her hand,
Yeah.
like pet me. And
Yeah.
I do, and then she's like,
Yeah, you could even start correcting the begging for petting at that point. Like, so next time we have people over, I would just say your family ignores her completely, and if she goes over to them and starts like trying to get pets, we're marking and correcting for that because she's demanding attention. And then the flip side, she's like, I don't like this attention, or it feels too much for her. So something in her brain is like, I don't like this, I can't get away. And then the example when your dad stood up, any motion like that, we don't want to put ourselves in a position where she could bite somebody or just flip a switch. So even though she is like coming up to them, I would still correct any of that. And then keeping her, like, she doesn't have to be on the bed the whole stay, but like you mentioned, I think it was really good that you worked her through people coming in and her settling down a little bit there.
during the walk, she'll pull off to pee. I don't know if I should correct her or not because I feel like if she has to. So now I know when she pees,
Yeah.
she doesn't have to pee.
Yeah.
But sometimes she pulls over to poop, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to let you poop.
Sure. Yeah, generally we want them to be in command or not in command, so we think of it like black and white, where if we're walking and every couple steps she's pulling us over to go to the bathroom, even if she's intentionally like going to the bathroom, we still want her to wait for that okay, just so it can be really clear whether she's in command or out of command. So you can give as many sniff breaks on the walk as you'd like, but I just try to focus on, if we tell her come, that we're consistently correcting her so she understands come versus free time. We can give her plenty of free time. She can use her nose, go potty. I remember she was doing that a little bit in our last session where she was pulling off a bit.
And I think Nick and I just have to handle her more. We felt like she was like a way happier dog like recently, and she wanted all the pets and everything. And then after my parents came over, she was so testy for a couple days, and Nick went to take off her collar, and she showed her teeth at him.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are you doing?
Yeah.
So, like, even now she's like, I feel like she's pushing the boundaries again of like, don't touch me, so we need to just like keep with it.
Yeah, it's just consistency-wise. Like, one, she needs to feel like just because people are over, they're not there for her, and she doesn't get to dictate, oh, like, you're petting me, I'm asking for the pets, no, don't pet me, I hate you. And unfortunately, huskies are a little bit temperamental in that way, very, like, high energy. She wants to dictate things, she wants things on her terms, but that can blend into, if we're not consistent in areas with people around, we can't expect her to listen when we don't have people around. So how is she doing with like brushing nails and stuff?
I think Nick has brushed her a couple times and she did okay. She
Okay.
has to stay on the bed. That
Yeah.
helps, so then she
Does
can't
it?
get away.
Okay,
And she
perfect.
still muzzled.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's start with a little bit of handling drills with her. I'll hit her nails, do some brushing, and then is there anything else you wanted to focus on today?
I think so. I think any of my complaints is like just on us.
Yeah.
She's been like sometimes jumping on the door again, and then I go to it and I'm like, oh, collar's not on.
Yeah.
It's just like a
Yeah.
knife.
Yeah, like setting yourself up to like win in those scenarios is really important because like day to day it can be hard to remember to put the remote on or the collar on. So I just put it in a place that like by my coffee pot where I'm gonna go every day, and I just make myself be consistent because you're absolutely right. If we're not consistent, sometimes if she's getting corrected for something and other times she's not, it can be really confusing. Yeah, it's just like a communication tool where if it's not on, we can't communicate with her. And then like she takes an inch or we give her an inch and she takes a mile. So she's like, "Sweet, I didn't get corrected for that one." I'll take the remote from you. Good. So I try to stabilize the paw, so it's really difficult when she's like pulling back and we're trying to do like a moving target almost. And then any of the nastiness, like I won't correct the lip raising or the snarling because she can have a tantrum. I'm only gonna correct the really, really committed stuff. So I corrected her back there because she was very committed to kind of moving forward at me. And she can talk as much as she wants, but I will correct those basic things.
Not muzzles tight enough.
Yeah. And then she's realizing, oh crap, like I'm pulling out all the stops and it's not working. Good girl. So she kind of does like a bait and switch of her personality, like around certain people. Like she loves, did you say your family or his family?
Like in his family, like she's so excited, like a normal dog,
Yeah.
a golden retriever, and she wanted to play, and at that point I took it as she was like relaxed enough.
Yeah.
I've never seen her like that. I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like maybe with my family, no.
Yeah.
No.
I think like gaining control over her when she's happy excited versus when she's mad excited or like hesitant, I think that will help you gain a lot of leverage over her just generally.
Yeah.
Because I love that she loves people and she's like saying hi to them, but the next couple of times I would just try to keep her on her bed and have people ignore her. So she ultimately realizes you and Nick are kind of calling the shots. And then I want to be careful about when I let her paw go because I don't want to time it when she's snarling at me and then she's like, oh, that worked. I'm going to kind of, even though I'm done trimming this paw, I'm going to hold on to that nail or that paw. Good girl. Good. Good job. I'll have you go back in with the back nails and see how she does for you.
Nick, would you rather work on the walk or like socialization? I thought maybe socialization, but if she's just this bad, like honestly, we don't need to socialize her. But if you think that your walks aren't going good, then maybe we should do that. Because you said that they weren't as good.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
maybe you can work on that because she doesn't do that for me. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're doing like differently, or I think she just thinks she can get away with it.
We can do a little bit of both if you want, like go for a little walk and then see how everything looks, come back and do some socializing. And then she's not due for a vet appointment just yet, right?
December.
Okay.
And I think maybe we will call your vet.
Yeah, I think that would be really good if we got an appointment, even if you call like pretty soon, so we can do that together, so we can show you exactly how to go about a vet visit. Because I can imagine even being without seeing me for 2 weeks, when I went back in for the nails, she was like, who the hell are you? And she definitely reacted, which I'm sure vets see, and they're like, oh, we have to medicate, we have to trazodone. Good. Okay. Juno down. So typically when we're doing a vet visit with a dog that has issues with the vet in the past, we want to go into it with like a lot of confidence and calmness. So I don't know if in the past when you've taken her to the vet, is she very anxious? Is she displaying?
Yeah, she like jumps all over the back seat.
Okay.
It's taking like forever to get like
And are you like typically like giving into like petting her and comforting her? Or do you try to like take a hands-off approach?
I think we tried to comfort her last time that we got to go in.
Okay.
Because she's anxious first before
Sure.
she's nasty.
Yeah, yeah. So I think a couple of things with having a successful vet visit is coming in and immediately putting her in a down. So we have one thing to hold her accountable for. So she's not jumping everywhere, barking. And then when we go to exam room, same thing, is we put her in a down and we enforce just one thing that's really clear. So when the vet comes in and goes to touch her, we have her held accountable for that down or actively trying to bite them. So they can kind of complete their exam and go through the motions. And if you have a vet that's willing to work through some of that snapping, it's worth its weight in gold, really. Because a lot of vets will tell you, oh, she needs medication, she needs this, she needs that. Don't use the e-collar, she'll hate you. So it's really important to find a vet that supports the needs of your dog. Nice, thank you. So I'll let a couple of dogs out. And the only rule and the hardest rule is that we have to ignore all of them, including her. So even if they come up to you, just completely ignore them. And I'll let you know, I'll mark no when I'm going to correct her, if I'm going to correct her. Good shake.
it looks like her hair is almost standing up on
Yeah. That just kind of is like showing excitement. So it's not necessarily negative.
I don't know if it was like a dominance thing.
Yeah. Again, I kind of want to allow her to make her rounds, smell, and she's not doing anything negative, so I want to avoid like micromanaging her in a group for the fence. But now we have a 6-foot fence, and it's no escapes have happened.
So like a couple of husky videos where they like scale a fence.
Yes, yeah. Paige has a husky, male husky, and I think that she's done a lot of work with him. Yeah.
She has probably about like a 5-foot base jump. It's pretty.
Yeah, we've had huskies up to like 70, 75 pounds.
Yeah. Aren't the Alaskan huskies bigger too?
I think so. Or if they're a mix between husky and Malamute.
Yeah.
We get a lot of Malamute mixed huskies.
Yeah.
That's why they're so big.
Are these like the most dogs she's been around?
She's been in a similar size group when she was doing her board and train. So I wanted to put her with a couple of different like sizes and energy levels. Like there's 2 puppies in here, and then Maxine, who's just very significantly bigger. And I just wanted to test the waters a little bit. Is she threatened by the bigger dogs? Is she annoyed with puppy energy?
I mean, for being 6, I mean, she's still just a ball full of energy.
Yes.
How was Greece?
Very good. Yeah.
Did you have good weather?
Yeah, it was really hot. And then you're right about the rocks being slippery. Like,
Yeah. Like she didn't have her muzzle on. Do you think she might like react?
I think she's showing pretty good signs of not reacting with the muzzle on.
Like her hair is not standing.
Yeah.
Up now.
So what I can even do is, like, I was thinking about removing the muzzle. So I'll just take one extra safety precaution. So because things were going so well with the muzzle on, we weren't seeing her be super forward. I'm okay with removing it and just kind of giving her a little bit of extra attention here.
But I think it's just like what we were like talking about like when she should and shouldn't be on like the furniture.
I still don't think we're on the same page. And I
Yeah.
think that she's taken that as like, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah. I think like consistency is really important to dogs. So you could just say like the policy is invite only. So when you say like, Juno, come on, she can come up. But anything outside of that, I would consider correcting her just so we can both be on the same page about things.
Yeah. Because at first we were doing like when we were eating, we would tell her down. But then we kind of got away from that. So.
Yes, yeah.
Just to have her color on.
Dogs that are a little bit more dominant or pushy should not share furniture with people necessarily, especially guests, when it's the 2 of you in the comfort of your own home. If we're starting to see her resource guard the furniture or show nastiness, like if the 2 of you were to sit down, all privilege is gone. But
The one time, I don't know, I didn't correct her because I didn't know like what she was doing, but Nick was sitting in the chair and she was like being pet, but she was on the floor, and I like came over to him like over his shoulder and she barked at me.
yeah.
And I think she like didn't want me
Yes.
there. Is that like a correctable?
Yeah, because I would look at that as she's guarding the attention. So, like the example you used when we first started, when your family was petting her and then your dad got up, or if she just starts to feel uncomfortable with the interaction, she can kind of start growling. And with humans, we're like, oh my God, is she being aggressive? So it's just good to like look at those moments where she's demanding attention or growling when she is being pet and correct her for that.
Oh, the growling when being pet.
Like, yes, yeah. So if he was petting her and you came over and she started like showing nastiness, she's guarding that attention. She's guarding Nick as a resource because it's something valuable to her. So starting to correct that starts to kind of even her out a little bit. Be like, you can't do that. Being pet is a privilege. Yeah.
He's like, I'm tripping.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it so much easier. Malcolm, no. She's doing exceptionally well in social. So she was showing some interest, smelling, no aggressive behaviors.
What's your stance?
You start on muzzle and get the feel for it. So I'll do like 10 to 15 minutes on muzzle. If I'm seeing her be really like outwardly nasty and really defensive, I would not take her off a muzzle, but she was doing so well and she was letting dogs come up to her. There was no growling, no issue, so I felt comfortable removing it. And then, like I said, our safety precautions is our remote's at 100 for any really committed things. We have a drag line on her, so that leash, I could easily take her away if something happened.
When you notice like those days where he's like, he goes from being like excellent to just like a little bit more rambunctious than usual, what things does he tend to then struggle with on those off days?
On the off days, getting in my plants,
Getting in your plants?
And just-
Indoor plants or outdoor plants?
they're indoor.
Indoor ones.
Yeah,
And
big ones.
does he try to like bite at them or what does he do?
He digs the dirt,
Yeah.
you know, and then just destroys the leaves.
Does
And
he?
he doesn't do it when I'm in the room.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. So he's doing it when you're out of sight?
Right.
Okay, got it. And how consistently throughout the week does he do that?
He doesn't do it all the time. Sometimes he does it just like randomly.
Yeah.
Everything he does is random.
Ah,
And it's whenever I'm not there.
yeah. To your point about though some of the stuff feeling random, I would say it's probably not so random as much as he's an opportunist. He knows when you're watching him and when you're not watching him.
Yes.
And I would probably argue that throughout the week, you're more on top of watching him certain times. And you know, the randomness is those like one-off situations where it's like you're distracted doing something else and he's off screwing around somewhere, you know,
Right.
doing something. So what I try to do in that is knowing that he only does this stuff when he's out of sight, I try to set up some of these situations where he thinks we're not watching him, but we really are, right? So, you know, maybe that means that you go in the other room for 20 minutes with your e-collar and you leave him out there, but you kind of, you know, keep an ear open where you could hear the second he gets into those plants to go give your correction for it or whatever it may be. But some of those things, you've got to be able to catch them once or twice when you're not watching him in order for him to learn it.
Like,
Okay.
when I do leaving, I'll stay in the garage for like 2 minutes.
Okay,
And once that 2 minutes is
Yeah.
still barking, I'll hit the collar.
okay, good. And does he stop right away when you do that?
Yes.
Perfect.
Then I'll stand there a few more minutes, and then if he barks again, I'll just do it. And he doesn't see me, so.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, same concept. Yeah, it's the exact same concept. Now, even with that, with the correcting the barking when you leave, make sure you're seeing a reduction in it altogether. Because if you're noticing every time you need to leave the house, you wait out there, 2 minutes later he starts barking, you correct him, he stops, but it happens every single time. That means that you're catching it every time, but he's not caring enough about the correction in order to ultimately stop it altogether, right? So any of those types of things, whether it's barking when you leave the house, whether it's him getting into your plants, whatever it may be, correcting it consistently obviously is one piece of the equation, but the other piece of the equation is making sure that when you give that correction, it's motivating enough where he wants to avoid it moving forward. So he just stops the behavior altogether. Have you had him like off leash in the yard at all, or?
I have.
You have? Oh, okay, cool. And has he been fine with that?
So far, he's been really good with that.
Okay.
And like, there is some distractions with the little puppy next door. With
Sure.
the barking
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And stuff like that, so. But he's doing, I feel he's doing really excellent. As
Okay.
you can see.
Yeah.
He's
No, this is
completely
great.
different than last week.
That is for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So we both have been, you know, taking him out and
Yeah.
doing things with him, but it was just, you know, with the plants that he got into the other day.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I get it.
And
Try to catch that one, you know? You got to figure out a way to set it up where you're going to be able to catch him getting into it, get it once or twice really good, you know? And listen, it sounds a little mean, but sometimes what I'll even do is to like entice him to to want to try to get into those plants, you can almost put something like on top of the soil that's gonna like entice him, smell good, you know, something like that, so that you can catch him the second he puts his nose in that plant to give your correction for it, you know?
Okay.
So whatever you've got to do to catch that one, let's try to get that last thing under control. Because, you know, if you got him off leash in the yard, if he's been good with the toys now, if we can get him past the plant issue, if he's been good on his walks, maybe we can get the nighttime a little bit better, obviously, like, you're in pretty good shape then, right? There you go, perfect. Percy. Well, right now, he's just confused because he thinks he needs to be next to you. Yeah. And keep in mind, right now, how we're enforcing this is very different than you guys have been enforcing it probably up until this point, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the correction, like.
And that's the key,
I know,
right? Yeah.
God, I know. We know that it's just.
That's what
That's okay. That's all right.
But we've got lenient
It's
ones
so
and stuff.
we have.
Yeah.
That's
That's
why.
why he's.
So you're saying like we got so lenient that when something big comes up,
You're
he's like.
you're trying to crack down on the big moment when you let everything else slide, you know?
So like you do feel like like this and all.
Oh, you'll get past. Yeah, this will be
It'll
fine.
come back to the
It'll
dog.
come
It'll
back
be
to
fine
the
with the dog.
Yes, yeah. And again, we're going to work on that also,
course,
right?
of course.
But yeah, it all starts with this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, why does he feel like he could get away with freaking out when he sees another dog,
Yeah.
right? Because he gets away with everything else. Yeah,
Like, he's always like,
yeah,
but he wouldn't cross. He wouldn't.
Sure.
And then it,
yeah.
And I feel like I'm always like I'm so damn strict. Like I have to be so
what
like.
you do with him.
Yeah.
God, it's so annoying. It's
I get it.
frustrating.
I get it.
And sometimes
You,
I'm like,
you got to be strict in the short term so that he just knows what to do,
Yes.
right? It's not like, I mean, like with my dogs, I don't have to correct them all the time for stuff. I don't. Because they've had such a history of consistency with it that they just know what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Let's keep doing a few more of these.
Okay.
And walk yourself right on up to that place, and then once you get next to it, then you can tell him place.
I know, we're not ready yet. What, the place?
Yeah, perfect. You're just starting to get in the groove now. That's fine.
Yeah. He's like, just don't hit me.
Percy.
I know. Yeah, you are. You just need some. It's our fault. Do it one more
Yep,
time.
just keep doing a few more.
Okay.
I want to see him give you like 3 or 4 good ones in a row.
Place.
Excellent.
Okay.
And another one.
Place.
Perfect. And see how even right here, how much less focused on that dog he was than the last one?
Say like.
You when you walk.
Because he's already in a compliant state of mind now, right?
Oh, that makes me happy.
Cool, let's do another one.
I never would have thought that's what it was. Okay. I wouldn't have thought that it was so much.
That's why I didn't want to come. I'm embarrassed. I dropped the ball. I failed.
It's fine.
Place.
There you go. And see how much better he's getting with getting on the place now too, because the criteria is becoming consistent. So you go through these hurdles of like, he doesn't do it very well, to he does it, but like he's confused, a little stressed, stuff like that, till he becomes confident in the choice that he's making, right?
Becomes confident. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously he's not totally there yet, right? But as he keeps doing this successfully without the need of the correction, that's where the confidence comes from. So same deal, when you give that command, the only word I want to come out is place. Perfect. See, now he's guessing it, which is fine. Totally
He
fine.
just knows what to do now.
Okay.
Perfect. And then go ahead and just hang out there. Just get a good grip on the leash just in case, but. Is that my guy Murph? There he is. Very good. Oh.
Yeah, I want to say it's not all dogs. He goes to a place where, you know, we.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah.
Daycare, whatever you call it.
Uh-huh.
A leash is a big thing too.
Yeah, and he plays with dogs. So not every dog, but there's
Yeah.
friends he has he plays with.
The leash definitely is a big component to it, you know. Anytime they feel like they're like trapped, the frustration kind of builds up from it.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
All right, let's do maybe 3 more good ones.
Okay. Place.
Very good. And again, you see how good that place command looks now.
Yeah, she had it easy.
You did all the hard work, yeah.
But that little German Shepherd, I mean, he would have.
Yeah, he needs German Shepherds.
Percy, what do the German Shepherds ever do to you?
Seriously.
Exactly.
Okay. Place. Okay.
It's cute when he listens.
Yeah, right.
Oh, he's not so cute when he doesn't listen.
Place.
Excellent. I like it. So that's lesson number 1. Got it?
Yes.
So anytime in any command you ask, right, whether it's a sit, whether it's a down, whether it's a place, whether it's a come, one command, then hold him accountable for said command, right? As long as you create consistency to that, you're going to notice he's just going to start listening in general to you more, right?
He already is. I mean, in this small amount of time.
Yes, 100%.
Him looking at me is like.
And we use these commands. It's not like we fell off.
Yeah, for sure. No, I understand.
You can see that we
Yeah,
use them, and he.
No, I mean it's not that he didn't know what place was.
Yes.
It's just the consistency behind the enforcement of it wasn't there, so it got gray,
Yes.
right? So cool. All right, let me grab something from upstairs real quick, and then we're going to start moving on to the next thing. You could have him hold that bed stay the whole time.
Yes.
Look at you. All right, why don't you take this, put this on him, and make sure it's fairly snug.
Behind it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just gonna be something we can attach a leash to. All right, let's take him outside here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a disaster.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with the Guardians. I mean, they're
Browns.
we're gonna play some. Let me see the remote from you. Here, let's just trade. How about that? You hold this, I'll take him. Come. Good.
That's a good boy.
There we go.
That's a good boy.
Okay, come on, buddy. All right, let's bring him over here. We'll talk about that for a second. So there's a couple variables there, right? So thing number 1, I heard you mention you usually point, right?
Yeah.
So
You're okay.
So anytime you start getting too contingent on physical cues and stuff, the dog's not actually listening to the command,
I know.
right? Thing number 2, a lot of times, and you guys may not do this, but what I see a lot of people do is sometimes when they give a down, sometimes they'll accept a sit if the dog doesn't down all the way, which creates a further gray criteria. And then third thing, if you're giving a lot of like verbal help and like uh-uhs and things like that, same deal. So you had a whole mix of confusion there, which is the next thing we were gonna work on anyways, was the down out here.
I will say, even like if I get him to speak, I always go like this. I get down.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Yes, yeah. There was
Even
a
when
lot
he
of.
eats, like
Yeah.
I know for a fact, and I
Yeah.
be careful because like I'll say okay, and like I've been
Uh-huh.
trying to like, because I'll go like
Sure.
this,
Yeah,
and this is what he waits for. He does wait for this,
Yeah, yeah.
and I have been trying to just say
Yeah.
okay, and like let him do it
Yeah, yeah.
because he does pay attention. You're right.
Yeah.
And we
So,
shouldn't do that.
well, same deal. It's not that it's wrong to give a
know, but we
visual cue, but you got to make sure he's going to listen to down also.
I know, that's
Right?
the thing.
And then see how, notice he started getting frustrated there,
He does.
right?
He's
That's similar to what you were explaining you were seeing on the walk, where it's like you correct him when another dog's around, and it like ignites him more. And all that comes from, that frustration right there came from confusion, right? Gray criteria, which gets back to the issues you were having, you know, out on the walk and stuff with other dogs, is when the criteria gets gray and he gets confused, that correction ignites him, right? So that's why getting back to all these little things go hand in hand with
He
it.
was confused and he gets frustrated.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna hand him back to you here. I'm gonna give this back to you here. And the next thing we're gonna work on actually is just gonna be downs. So I want you to start working some downs. What you're gonna do is pick a spot, one single down command, just like with the bed, no help, no bending over or anything, and then give a correction if he doesn't do it, and then get him into the down. I would expect these next couple will go much smoother because we just worked through that there, obviously, but we'll see what we get.
Okay. Down.
And just give him a second, let him kind of work through it. Perfect. And that's usually what happens, right? You have one rep where it's like you kind of work through all the nonsense with it, and then you get him back on track. Here, I'll take that back from you also.
Yeah.
And then just release him and do another one.
Okay.
Give him a second, see what he does. And then whenever you feel like he's committed to not doing it, just like that, yep.
Down.
And then give him a second, see what he does. There we go, perfect.
He takes his time.
He was really thinking about it there, yeah.
I knew you could do it. Okay.
And we're gonna do just like with the place, we'll do a bunch of these until he's like really smooth with it.
Down.
Hey, there we go, look at that. Now, I know right now we feel bad because you just got a bunch of corrections, but let's nix that praise and stuff right now also. We'll add it back in later, but like the problem is right now, if you get him excited, you're gonna make him make a mistake.
I know. Did
You know?
correct him?
Yes.
Okay.
When we did the training, like we would practice every day. We would do this.
Yeah.
Like I would say, like when we go home, like keep doing. Would you say or no?
Honestly, I'm with dogs that are this far past training, it's not an issue of you need to practice it more. It's when you practice it, you have to do it right. Again, like I don't want to create extra work for myself. I don't do training sessions with my dogs anymore, but if I need to ask it down, I enforce it like this. If I need to ask a place command, I enforce it like that, et cetera, right? So quality over quantity of reps is usually what I say. He's confused right now.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this is all confusion.
He just
I'm not seeing a dog being disobedient here.
No. 'Cause
You
he
know?
wants to. He
Yeah.
wants to
Yeah, because he's looking at me. He's like, he
Yeah.
doesn't.
He's trying to figure out what to do. Yeah. And confusion in many cases is the culprit of a lot of behavioral issues. You know, confusion creates frustration, frustration creates behavioral issues. So
Okay.
that's why I kind of kept saying inside, you know, your big issues you're having, they're more symptoms of your problem than they are the problem itself.
Down.
There you go. Try to, as you're doing this right now, not move around too much. Whenever you stop and say down, let him work around you, you know.
Okay.
Here, I'll take the leash back from you real quick. I want to help with one thing here.
Okay.
Come on, bud. Down. Perfect, right? So what I want to do, getting back to quality over quantity of reps here, a lot of times when you were doing those downs with him, even once he got in it, you could see he was kind of like, almost like, should I be in it? Should I get up, right? So I'm actually going to focus on putting him in this down and then just having him hold it for a couple extra seconds until I see that he is like committed to being there. See how he's even shifting around a little bit and stuff right now?
When we do at home, I feel like he'll down and then he will. He moves out of it
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
And sometimes in those settings, it is disobedience. It's I just don't want to be in this down, obviously. But right now, I'm seeing, wait, is what I'm doing right now the correct thing?
Yeah. Like
You know?
he's unsure.
Yes. And then whenever I feel like he's relatively committed to it, okay, then I'll release him, and I'm going to do a few like that. Down. See, like all of this, I'm gonna let him work through 100% of this and wait until I see him fully committed to either doing it or not doing it. No. Down. No. Down. No. Down. Good. And same deal, I'm gonna let him just sit there for a minute. Okay, come on. Down. Good. Okay. Down. Good. Okay. Down. Good. Okay. Down. Good. Let these two dogs come back through here, and I'll do a couple more and then hand them back to you. You see he's kind of finally starting to get a little more stable with it here.
Even when
So,
he lays down.
yeah. Okay. All right, I'm gonna hand him back to you here. So you could do it exactly how I'm doing it. Just hold the handle of that leash, pick your spot, nice calm down, and then give him as much time as you want to think through it. And whenever you feel like he's committed to not doing it, give your correction.
Down.
And just let him chill there. I want you to let him sit in that down until you feel like he is totally committed to staying there. He's still kind of thinking through it. So you
I
can,
was gonna say that
no, you're fine.
Keep, so I was like, maybe I'll
Keep
wait
chilling there.
longer.
That's totally fine. A lot of times I'll use, what they're doing as far as their breath is concerned. Like when he starts holding his breath like that, that's usually a sign they're thinking about doing something. So,
That's what we always say, like, we know when he
yeah.
starts doing that. He's looking, he's monitoring.
Yeah.
We're good.
What do you think?
I would say yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and release him.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I think that he was moving around. Down.
Perfect. Gonna make you a reformed boy by the end of this, Percy.
He's already.
He's doing better. I mean, there's definitely some cobwebs we're brushing off here, but he's doing a lot better. I think if you take nothing away from today other than consistency with your correction and just slowing everything down, that is one of the biggest things, especially around distractions. Slow yourself down. Even if he's being a maniac lunging at the leash, just
I know.
down, right?
I
No,
know,
right?
and
No.
that's the hardest when
Yeah, yeah.
he's pulling and
Yeah, sure, sure. It's great.
Okay.
See if I'll give you 2 more good ones.
Just even how he's walking with you.
Yes, 100%. I was just gonna point that out. Yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. Same thing as we were seeing with the bed, right?
Yeah, he was.
And this is him showing he's fine. It's clicking, right? He's understanding what it is you're working on. He's more clear in it.
And he would walk good, but that was walking amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right there.
Uh-huh.
Like, the J was in the lead.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
We like a J in the leash, Percy.
I
We
love
like a
it.
J.
He's a tired boy.
Oh, yeah.
Walking and he just,
Oh, it's great.
Do you guys have a lot of land where you're at? Or-
we don't.
Really?
Let
Oh,
me
yeah.
Walk him. I mean,
That's why we're always walking.
Yeah,
You
sure,
know,
sure.
It's our backyard. I mean, we have a nice backyard, but just not fenced in.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You know, it's one of those things where we just always walk them, constantly walking them.
Yeah.
run him.
Yeah, we'll run them in the field.
Not first.
Okay.
Loves a ball. Just looks calmer.
Yeah. Yeah, much, much better. So whenever you release him, all of you guys switch and I'll have you do some of these next. See if you get the easy work again.
Yeah.
Yeah, why make me do this all the time?
I lick him all day long. So I
You get the easy now. Okay.
Same deal, hold just the handle of that leash and then a bunch of downs.
down.
Give him a second. Let him work through this.
No. Down.
Really good timing on that one. I think you waited a perfect amount of time.
And you can kind of now I know what I'm looking for.
Yes.
You know when to do that correction.
Yeah, see that like, yeah, as long as you see him thinking and working through it, I'm
Yeah.
okay with giving him some time.
No. Down.
Perfect. And you see now, when he gets the correction, it's actually becoming more clear to him what to do, as opposed to seeing the frustration you were seeing before. So
He
just let him
respects
chill there.
Keith a lot more than me. I'm like an equal to him, which is an issue because
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
with
Because
him.
she's the
I
one
work
walking
from
him.
home,
Yeah, I understand.
You know,
and
it's,
I baby him. And
Listen, baby, there's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as
well,
when you
maybe it
ask
means-
the
maybe it
expectation.
means also, like maybe not giving the correction.
Yes,
sometimes.
that's a different story.
Listen,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not- I do it too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because I feel bad when I'm correcting him.
No,
And I shouldn't, but I do.
well, listen, nobody should feel good when you're correcting him. Like, yeah. But like, you know, you when you see it as more a part of the big picture of creating further clarity to him, that is when, you know, you start to accept it a little more.
no. Down.
And I think I see that right there with her. too.
Yeah, sure.
He thinks he can just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
out maybe.
And
with
he
her.
wants me to pet him. and
He does. He wants
Yeah,
pets all the
And
time.
I have to sometimes just look away. 'cause
So keep chilling there. We're gonna let him really, really relax into that position. You know, I'd argue some of this is a little confusion, so a little antsiness, but still a little confusion. Dogs don't generalize very well, so just because they do that really well with one person doesn't mean with the other people it's the same. So, but as long as you're enforcing it the exact same way, which you are, you'll see him get better with it. And I would say the positive about him is he's actually fairly sensitive to the e-collar. Like, he's not working ridiculously high right now, you know?
That's what when Seamus was like, try to
Yeah.
keep it at something, and I always thought we would have to. But
Well, listen, there probably will be scenarios you have to have it significantly higher than that, but I will say one consistent thing we've seen with Rottweilers in general is they work crazy high on the e-collar. Their pain threshold is like through the roof, So the fact that he's not like that is good, because that makes it easier to enforce stuff.
Yeah, and he's a baby. That's
Yeah.
why.
he's a baby, but he's always like, I'm always like, if he doesn't feel good, I don't know, because I do feel like
Yeah.
he has, like a high pain.
He does, but his nail broke.
We've
or
had a lot of
something,
issues
with
like, he
nails.
doesn't even care.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he's like, it doesn't bother him.
It
Yeah.
bothers me.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night. I have nightmares about his nails.
Yeah.
We'll get the scratch board going now.
Yeah.
We're trying with the
Yeah.
clippers, but it's been.
So have them hold that another minute. Sounds like there might be another couple guys coming out.
I mean, you have to love your dog. If I could see these little adorable babies every single day.
Generally, I don't get to hang out with the fun ones that much. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Hard one.
Well, not even just that. I just mean like the trainers here, like we're working with them in the very annoying stages of things.
Like, I'm like, oh, why do you help me get my medicine?
Yeah.
Help me.
Then everybody else gets them once they're good. Yeah.
That's what it was. We've been talking about like reaching out to
Sure.
you guys, and then I just had
Yeah.
on the phone. I told him, I was like, he's got to. We need help.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
That's right. Whenever you think. You're in the driver's seat.
Okay. Down.
There you go. Very good.
Okay. Down. No. Down. Okay. Down.
Nice.
And I noticed too how me and you are different with our downs than he is. So we're like, down,
But you
we
should
were,
just
we were
stay
like,
calm. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like
Down.
down.
Yeah, and listen, neither of you are saying it bad by any means.
No, I know. I just noticed like such a difference of how I'm saying like
Yeah.
like I want you to hear
We
me.
feel like it needs to be so loud in order for them to
like,
hear it
like
or
a
things
man
like that.
type
Yeah.
you know?
Or you say it with a lot of intensity and stuff. Where
I do that a lot.
I would say it clear enough and loud enough, but don't overthink the rest. The only time I ever say it's like wrong is when people start getting frustrated when they're giving the commands. Not because it's like, oh, you're yelling at the dog, that's bad, but because when we get frustrated, we get flustered, and then our timing goes out the window.
and I try to stay calm because like, even after he eats sometimes, like, I get like this burst of energy
Sure.
and he's jumping and he's ripping stuff around, and I'm like, okay, I have to stay calm because when I'm like, where's he? Ow, like,
Yeah. Well, something like that. When you say he's jumping and like, is he jumping like on you?
No, like he'll jump on the couch and like he'll jump
It was
down.
like zoomies after.
Oh,
he said
got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when he just ate, and I'm like, okay, we gotta chill.
Sure.
You can't jump around when you eat, and he's like,
Yeah.
the pillow. So
Uh-huh.
and he doesn't.
He
do that.
grabs the pillow, you said?
Oh yeah.
Okay. That's something I'm assuming you probably don't want him to do, right?
No, and that's
So
where
just
I'm
correct him for it.
like, and that's where it's just like
Yes.
we do in
Yeah.
the sense of
You
like,
do you though, or do you? Because if you do, he wouldn't keep grabbing the pillow.
well, it's just like not every single time.
Yeah, sure.
Of course,
of course.
And probably not with the intensity needed on the e-collar, right? Or not consistent enough for him to learn. Yeah, yeah.
We're not consistent enough
That's
with
the
it.
word.
I mean, that's something you should get past in like a week, you know?
Well, and I think when he eats, because like a lot of times at home, like I said, I work from home, so he's
Sure.
with me, and when we're home, it's not always on.
Yeah.
But like that's something, especially like I feel like for a while, it's just gonna have
Yeah,
to be on him.
you need to predict the scenarios where you'll need it. And sometimes it gets overwhelming because it's like there's so many things that we want to address. So pick 2 of them and be consistent about those 2 things for a week, right? So like the feeding thing you just described, grabbing the pillow, right? Obviously we want him to stop doing that, right? And frankly, I would say him leaping off of your furniture like it's a jungle gym with a dog as big as he is probably is something I wouldn't want him doing either, you know? And I don't know, and downstays, right?
Yeah.
So for the next week, just make sure the e-collar's on every time during mealtime and anytime you take him out to go work downstays,
Yeah.
right? And then you'll get those things good. He'll stop doing the nonsense after the eating and he'll get really good with the downstays and then you don't need it for those things anymore. Then you move on to the next 2, right? As opposed to like, let's get everything all at once. That's where it gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more.
Okay.
So are you sure?
Down.
Very good. We'll probably do a few more of these with you. I want to see him get a little better with it still.
Okay. Down.
Wow. Said person, mom, person, mom. Pretty good. What do you think?
I never know like if he's looking at something. Should I?
Don't overthink it too much.
Okay.
He's allowed to look at other things, you know, and he's allowed to even be like, whoa, what's over there? Just,
But he's not
is he
thinking
committed
about
to the
like
down?
that. Yeah.
It's not so much is he thinking about something over there, it's is he thinking about breaking the down or not?
Okay. Down.
Perfect.
Okay.